seasons of the year. Spring. This is spring. Peppa sees the flowers blooming and hears the birds singing in the garden. Spring is so beautiful. Summer. This is summer. The sun shines brightly. Peppa and George play outside and drink cool water to stay refreshed. ... Autumn. This is autumn. The leaves turn yellow, orange, and red, falling all over the yard. Peppa and George enjoy jumping over the piles of leaves. Winter. This is winter. It's cold and the snow falls all around. Peppa and George wear warm clothes and happily make a snowman. Peppa and George see that each season has its own beauty. They learn that spring, summer, autumn, and winter are all fun and special. Peppa learns about plants. Today, Peppa and George are going to learn about plants. They walk into the garden and see trees, flowers, and fresh green vegetables. Peppa points at a tomato plant and says, "This is a tomato plant." George sees a lettuce and realizes, "And this is lettuce." Mummy Pig shows Peppa and George how to water the plants. They learn that plants need water to grow and stay healthy. Peppa notices the beautiful roses and the bright red strawberries. She learns to distinguish flowers from fruits. Finally, Peppa and George sit under a tree, feeling proud that they have learned so much about plants. The whole garden looks green and full of life. Peppa learns numbers. Today, Peppa and George are learning about numbers. They see numbers on blocks and toys around them. Peppa sees the number 1 and says, "This is number 1. There is only 1. George laughs and nods in agreement. Peppa and George see 2 balls on the ground. Peppa says, "This is number 2. There are 2 balls." They count together. 1, 2. Peppa sees 3 chairs and says, "This is number 3. There are 3 chairs." George counts along with Peppa. 1, 2, 3. Finally, Peppa and George learn the numbers from 1 to 5. Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig are very proud of the children for learning their numbers. Little Pig and his sister decided to explore a forest that was said to have many strange things. But no one expected that. Today would be a special adventure. As they went deeper into the forest, they came across a giant tree, standing tall in the middle of the road. But not any ordinary tree. Suddenly, a mysterious warning rang out from within the tree. Be careful, darkness is approaching, and things will never be the same again. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. The shadows of the trees began to move, but it wasn't the wind. Little Pig and Sister Pig ran faster, but the darkness seemed to be unyielding. And in the end, nothing strange happened. Everything was in the sisters' imagination. Recognize colors. Today, Mummy Pig is going to teach Peppa and George to recognize colors. She brings out a color chart and starts explaining to them. Peppa points at the red apple and says, "This is red just like this apple." George looks at it and says, "Red is so nice." Peppa sees the fresh green trees in the garden and says, "This is green, just like the leaves on the trees." Peppa points at the bright yellow sunflower and says, "This is yellow, just like this sunflower." Peppa looks up at the sky and says, "This is blue, just like the sky." Peppa and George are happy that they've learned the colors. They feel proud to recognize red, green, yellow, and blue in the world around bubble blowing contest. Today, there's a special event at school, the balloon blowing contest. Madam explains the rules. Everyone gets one balloon, and whoever blows the biggest balloon without popping it wins. The children are excited. Everyone wants to win the contest. The contest begins, but blowing balloons isn't as easy as it looks. Some little accidents make everyone laugh out loud. In the end, only Peppa and Susie are left with their balloons. Who will be the winner? Susie wins, but Peppa is happy too. The balloon blowing contest has brought lots of fun and laughter to everyone. Peppa learns about independence. Today, Mummy Pig gives Peppa and George some house chores. Peppa will fold the clothes, and George will help Mummy Pig clean up. Peppa starts folding the clothes, but everything turns out not quite as she expected. The clothes get tangled and aren't as neat as Peppa thought. Peppa decides to clean the furniture in the living room, but instead of cleaning everything, she only wipes a little and leaves some dust behind. Mummy Pig sees Peppa struggling, so she helps her complete the chores. Mummy Pig shows Peppa how to fold clothes neatly and clean the furniture properly. In the end, Peppa and George finish their chores. Peppa feels proud because she has learned how to be independent and do housework properly. One beautiful morning, Little Pig and Little Pig were walking in the garden. Little Pig suddenly discovered a big rock. But the strange thing was, this rock could move. The curious Little Pig approached the rock, and in the blink of an eye, the rock started rolling, as if it wanted to lead the Little Pig somewhere. The stone led Little Pig into a mysterious area of the garden, where there was a small gate covered with wildflowers. The gate seemed never to have been opened. As they passed through the mysterious gate, Little Pig and Sister Pig enter a magical garden, a vast flower garden, and a giant candy garden. So the adventure ends, but this mysterious garden will surely have many interesting things waiting for Little Pig and Sister Pig to discover. Who knows where this stone will lead them next? Peppa learns about flowers. Today, Peppa and George are going to learn about flowers. They walk into the garden and see many colorful flowers. Peppa points at the bright red roses and says, "These are roses, so beautiful and fragrant." Peppa sees the tall sunflowers, bright yellow, always turning towards the sun. George points at the colorful tulips. They learn that tulips are shaped like little cups. Peppa sees orchids growing on small branches. These flowers are elegant and come in many colors. Peppa and George are very happy to know the names and features of the flowers. They learn that each flower has its own color and shape. How wonderful! Peppa and the different houses. Today, Peppa and George are going to visit your different houses in class. They are so excited to see what kind of houses you live in. The first house they came to was Ket's. It was small and colorful. Peppa and George both loved it immediately. Scowl's house is different. It's tall and modern, with big windows looking out onto the garden. Peppa and George love it because it's so spacious. Bear's house is located in the forest and is made of wood. This is Peppa and George's favorite house because it is close to nature and has a beautiful garden. After the tour, Peppa and her friends sat down and realized that each house had its own special thing. rains, but it's not ordinary rain. Sparkling, colorful drops fall into Peppa's garden. Each magical raindrop turns into a beautiful flower. The green garden bursts into colorful blooms. Huh? Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig run into the garden, amazed by the magical flower garden created by the rain. The whole family laughs joyfully. Peppa and George dance among the flowers, enjoying the magical rain with their family. A very special day, full of colors and happiness. Peppa and the puzzle game. Peppa and George are ready to play with colorful building blocks. They don't know that today, the blocks will be very special. Oh no! The first block jumps and changes color. Peppa and George are wide-eyed and giggle with surprise. The other blocks also transform into little animals, dancing all over the floor. Peppa and George chase them, picking them up with laughter. Yahoo! The blocks form funny shapes, then change into new ones. Peppa and George try to guess, but are always surprised and laugh non-stop. Finally, the blocks return to normal, but still brightly colored. Peppa and George giggle happily, enjoying the magical shape-shifting game. Little Pig and Big Pig were walking in the park when they suddenly heard a strange sound coming from behind the bushes. They both stopped and looked at each other curiously. Little Pig started to guess. Could it be a giant bear sleeping in there? And Sister Pig thought, or maybe a squirrel looking for food. The rustling from the bushes grew louder. Neither of them could figure out, what was it? Could it be a monster? And then, suddenly, Daddy Pig jumped out from the bushes, scaring Little Pig and Sister Pig out of their wits. It turned out that Daddy Pig was playing hide and seek. After a moment of panic, the whole pig family laughed out loud. It turned out that the strange thing behind the bush was a fun game that Father Pig thought up. Snowman making. This morning, Peppa wakes up to find the garden covered in white snow. A perfect day for building snowmen awaits her. Peppa and George roll huge snowballs with Daddy Pig. George adds a carrot nose to the snowman, while Peppa laughs with delight. The snowman is almost ready. Peppa decorates the eyes with coal, adds a hat, and George sticks branches for arms. What a wonderful creation! After finishing the snowman, Peppa and George throw snowballs and play around it. The whole family's laughter echoes across the snowy yard. A wonderful day with the snowman comes to an end. Peppa and her family will always remember these fun and happy moments. Peppa learns to clean up after playing. Peppa and George are having fun playing with toys all over the room, but toys are scattered everywhere. Aha! Mommy Pig comes in and says, we should tidy up our toys after playing to keep the room neat. Peppa and George start picking up each toy, putting the Lego in the box, and placing the stuffed animals on the shelf. Everything becomes neat little by little. They clean the table, sweep the floor, and look around. Now the room is clean and tidy, making Peppa and George very proud. With a little effort, Peppa and George learned that tidying up after playing not only keeps the room clean, but also makes the whole family happy. Running competition. Today, the school is holding a running competition. Peppa, George, and the others are very excited to participate. Who will be the winner? The whistle has blown! The race is officially on! Peppa and George and their friends run as fast as they can. Oh no! There are many obstacles on the track. Peppa has to overcome them, but George can't stop because he tripped over a small rock. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig cheered enthusiastically, which gave Peppa and George extra motivation to continue the competition. And finally, Peppa and her friends finished the competition. Even though she wasn't the winner, Peppa felt very happy because she tried her best. The giant pumpkin. Today, something strange has happened in Peppa's garden. A giant pumpkin appeared, as if by magic. Yippee! Mummy Pig imagines hundreds of dishes, from pumpkin soup, pumpkin pie, to even giant pumpkin juice. Daddy Pig thought it was all about strength, but clearly the pumpkin had its own plan, to be the garden's fastest racer. And instead of eating pumpkin, the pig family enjoyed a giant pumpkin adventure full of laughter. What a tasty and funny day! The sweet-making machine of Professor Lion. Today, Peppa and her friends visit Professor Leo's lab.
Aha!
Where sugar, flour, and curiosity blend into one. Professor Leo proudly declares, each button creates a culinary masterpiece. Naturally, no one dares to press one, yet. No one's sure whether to eat first or clean first. A moment both delicious and sticky. It turns out every invention comes with a little chaos and a little sweetness at the end. Little Pig and Sister Pig are preparing a wonderful party with delicious grilled food. Everyone is happy, but something unexpected is about to happen. Suddenly, there was a sizzling sound from the oven. Something was definitely wrong. Little Pig and Big Sister Pig ran around the kitchen in a panic. Little Pig grabbed everything to put out the fire while Big Sister searched for a towel. But would this help? But then a miracle happened. Sister Pig found the fire extinguisher and ran out to put out the fire. Peppa Pig and the Rainy Day. It's a rainy day! Peppa and George put on their raincoats and boots, ready to play outside. Peppa jumps into the first puddle. George follows, and they both laugh as water splashes everywhere. Bigger puddles make Peppa and George jump high, creating playful circles of water. Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig join in. The whole family jumps in puddles, laughter echoing across the yard. A wonderful rainy day comes to an end. Peppa and her family admire the rainbow, remembering these playful moments forever. Adventure in the Little Forest. Peppa and George are excited to step into the small forest, where trees and rustling leaves await. They don't know what surprises are ahead. Wow! Oh, wow! The leaves in the forest seem to dance, falling on Peppa and George's heads like funny hats. Look! A big tree looks like it's laughing! Its branches shake, making Peppa and George jump back, then laugh at the silly sight. They have to cross a small pond, but leaves cover the water like a wobbly bridge. Peppa and George jump around, splashing water everywhere. Finally, Peppa and George sit under a tree, laughing as they look around. They had a funny and joyful adventure in the small forest. One fine evening, Little Pig was sleeping soundly in his room. But as he closed his eyes and fell asleep, a strange dream began. The little pig opened his eyes and found himself at the bottom of the sea, surrounded by colorful fish and beautiful coral reefs. Little Pig wanders into an underwater garden where sea flowers are blooming and dancing to cheerful music. The baby pig swims like a little fish and can even surf like a superhero. Everything under the sea is fun and colorful. After a wonderful adventure, Little Pig felt a little tired and decided to return to the real world. The water world gradually disappeared, leaving behind a feeling of relief. Halloween house decorating. Today, Peppa and her family are decorating the house for Halloween. The atmosphere is exciting and fun. Peppa places the pumpkin lights. George hangs spooky masks. Gotcha! They laugh as the yard transforms into a fun Halloween space. Daddy Pig hangs fake cobwebs. Mummy Pig puts spooky stickers on the windows. Peppa and George run around, laughter filling the yard. The Halloween house is ready! Peppa jumps with joy, George claps in delight, and the family laughs happily. A wonderful Halloween decorating day comes to an end. Peppa and her family are ready to enjoy a fun-filled Halloween night. Peppa learns geometry. Today, Peppa and George will learn to recognize shapes. Mummy Pig brings out a shape chart and starts explaining to them. Wow! Peppa sees a round ball rolling across the garden. She happily exclaims, "This is a circle, like our ball." Next, Peppa and George see a square gift box. Peppa says, "This is a square. A square has 4 equal sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, Peppa and George notice a triangle-shaped pizza slice. "This is a triangle," Peppa says. "It has 3 sides. 1, 2, 3. Finally, Peppa notices the rectangular rug in the living room. A rectangle has 2 long sides and 2 short sides, Peppa explains. Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig are very proud of Peppa and George for recognizing the shapes. The whole family happily plays with the shapes Peppa and George have learned.